Hello friends, this is Nick from NOB Solutions, and today I'm going to show you how you can install Zabbix Monitoring Server 2.4 on Ubuntu Server 14.04. In this video, I'm going to start by showing you how to install the Ubuntu server, and you can download a copy of your Ubuntu from their official website. It's a small ISO around 600 megabytes, and it's really fast to download and to mount into your system and install later. Within the installation, I'm going to configure the partition that is going to be used by the operating system. I'm going to configure the group boot, which is equivalent to the Windows master boot, and from there my system will load up after that. I'm going to add additional packages to my Ubuntu server installation, and in this case is the LAMP package, which contains the Apache, the MySQL and PHP. And I'm going to install the MySQL. Within the installation it will ask me for additional details for my SQL server. Later, when my Ubuntu server is up and running, I'm going to log into it and I'm going to start with the installation of the Zabbix monitoring. I'm going to show you how you can download the Zabbix Ubuntu package and how to install and configure all the prerequisites for the Zabbix to fully operate, which is the Zabbix MySQL database and Zabbix frontend PHP. And I'm going to finalize within a web browser and show you how to finish the Zabbix installation in just 2-3 clicks. So let's start with the demonstration. First, what you need to do is you need to go to ubuntu.com website. From there is a direct link to download the latest server operating version, and that is 14.04. After that, you need to use that ISO image to attach to a virtual machine or to install on a physical server. It depends what you want and where you want to install this Zabbix server. So I'm going to attach mine to my virtual machine that I'm going to install for this server, and after I power on this virtual machine, it will ask me to choose the language pack that I want to load. I'm going to stick with English, press enter, and after that it's going to ask me what I want to do with this image. Do I want to install that, or do I want to test other features of that Ubuntu provide? So I'm going to use the install Ubuntu server option and press enter to it, and now it's going to load the installation process, and I'm going to guide you through it so you can see how you can install the Ubuntu server. Okay, again, language to be used for the installation process, I need English, and I'm going to choose the keyboard layout and the time zone, so I want United States. And yeah, it's going to ask me if I want to press several keys so it can detect my keyboard layout, but I want to stick with the default one. So the English US is pretty much okay for me. Again, English US, and it's going to load the next steps that I need to configure. It's going to check the network for DHCP that could be providing IP addresses. And yeah, now that my DHCP server gave an IP address to my server, the next step that I need to do is I need to specify the host name, the name of the Zabbix server. So I'm going to name it according to my naming convention, Zabbix01, and I'm going to continue. And the next step is going to ask you for the full name of the new user. So the full name of my user will be NLB admin. If I press continue, it will ask me for the account, the root account for my Ubuntu server that I'm going to be able to log in to my Ubuntu after that. So I'm going to specify NLB admin without a dot, because if I specify a dot it will say that there are invalid characters. So I'm going to use only NLB admin, press enter to continue, and specify the password for my server. When I press enter it will ask me to retype that, so I'm going to retype it and press enter. And the next step, it will ask you to encrypt the disk before you install and make it more secure, but I don't want encryption, so I'm with the left and right arrow keys you can specify yes or no. I'm going to press enter for no, and it's going to detect, because currently I have internet access, it's going to detect my location, and it's going to ask me if the time zone, or if you don't have internet connection you will need manually to specify your time zone, but I'm going to press yes for this one. And the next step is the partitioning of the disk. Basically, the first method is use the entire disk. So that's the one that I'm going to choose here. The entire disk is going to be used for my Ubuntu operating system. And in that operating system, later I'm going to install the needed packages and the Zabbix package afterwards. So I'm going to choose the option guided use entire disk. It's going to detect the disk that I've provided. Currently you can see that I only gave 20 gigabytes. It's detecting it as 21.5, but the original size of the disk is 20 gigs. So I'm going to select that option, press enter, and it's going to show me what is going to configure on that disk, and if I want to make the changes on this disk. So it's going to use that disk to create a swap partition that is used by the Linux operating system, and is going to create another partition with ext4 format. That is the one, the file format that Linux operating system use. So I'm going to press yes to that, and it's going to copy over the data to the disk, and it's going to start installing my components for my Ubuntu server. The next step that it will ask you is if you have a proxy. For example, if you have a proxy within your network and the server will need that proxy in order for it to connect to the internet. I don't have one, so I'm going to leave blank and press enter to continue. Now, as far as I can see, it's currently trying to download the packages that are included. Later within the operating system, I'm going to update the package repository once again, just in case. But as far as I can see, it's currently trying to download and to configure the apt repository packages. So Let's see if that would finish successfully, so we can proceed with the next steps after that. The next step, it will ask me if I want to install automatic updates. Like the Windows operating system, Linux provide automatic security updates that can be downloaded, and so you can keep your server up to date. But in this case I don't want any automatic updates, so I'm going to press enter to that. And the next window is really important. On this window, Linux includes pre-populated packages that can be downloaded and pre-configured on your server in order for it to, for example, if you want to run DNS server, a DNS Ubuntu server, you can pre-populate with the DNS server package. Mail server, you can choose the mail server option. For my Zabbix server installation, the prerequisites that you need to specify is the OpenSSH server, and you can select that by pressing the up and down arrow keys to move around the options, and press space to select an option. So we need OpenSSH and LAMP. LAMP basically stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So we need these packages to be pre-installed in order for me to then continue with the installation of the Zabbix server. So I'm going to select those and press enter to continue. Of course, if you want, you can select manual package selection and choose from there, but the pre-populated ones will do just fine for this course. So I'm going to press enter to continue. It's going to retrieve the options and it's going to now ask me for the new password for the root account of my SQL database. So I'm going to specify a password for it, and note that this password is really important, so you need to write it down somewhere, because the Zabbix server will connect to that database to store information, so it will need that password. So I'm going to specify a password, press continue. Again, repeat the password to make sure it's the same, and that is going to continue my installation and preparation of my Ubuntu server. You can see that it's really straightforward, really simple. It's not that different from installing a Windows server. You don't have a lot of options that you can mess up. Again, in the Linux server, you don't have the pre-installation environment like Windows, where you can use the mouse and a lot of graphical interface, and but you must consider that the Linux Ubuntu image for the server is 600 megabytes, around 600 megabytes. The one for the Windows server, it's around 4 gigabytes. So you should understand how many things were cut from this one, but it's still working just fine like that. The next option and the next step that you need to configure is the grub bootloader. Basically, it's a loader that, like the Windows master boot record, it needs to create a boot record for the Linux operating system in order for it to boot. You can play around with the grub and configure. If you have, for example, a dual boot operating system, it's always good to, you can choose the Windows boot or the Linux grub boot loader to specify which operating system you want to load. But in this case, I'm going to install the grub boot loader so it can configure my Ubuntu, and I will show you where exactly that is in case. So my installation is complete and it's time to boot into my operating system. So as soon as I press continue, my server will restart and it will load my operating system. Here you can see that it's currently loading my operating system. So after the restart, my Ubuntu is up and running, and I can go ahead and log in with my account that I've specified, and of course the account that you specified within your installation. So my account is nobadmin and the password. And now I'm currently logged into my Ubuntu Linux server. You can see some information on the top about the system load, the usage of the free space, the swap usage, the memory usage, the processes that are currently running, and the next thing that we need to do is we need to start downloading and installing our Zabbix packages. You can achieve this by using command line only, as the Linux Ubuntu server does not provide us with a graphical interface. Of course, you can add a graphical interface, but in this case we are looking into configuring a Zabbix server that will be a small server but very efficient. So what we need to do is we need to use the command wget and then specify the exact address where it can find and download the package for my Zabbix, and that website is http and then //repo.zabbix.com and then /Zabbix 2.4 Ubuntu. Because there are other operating systems, you can of course install the Zabbix server on a Windows machine. In a future video I'll try to install that on a Windows machine, but the Linux version is really simple, really small, and can do as good as the Windows one. So I chose Ubuntu. You can choose different distributions of Linux to install that. You can check from the Zabbix site. Pull main Zabbix release, and here you specify the package that you want to install, which is Trusty. That's the name of how the Linux guys decided to name the distribution. So that is the package, is the same Debian package as the Debian distribution. So I'm going to press enter, and now you can see that it automatically found the package that I've specified, and it downloaded it to my system. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to unpack, or if you are using a WinZip or WinRAR, this is the same here. The package needs to be unpacked so we can proceed with the install. So we can do this by the command dpkg I Zabbix release, and if you press tab, it will automatically fill the information for you. So I'm going to press enter, and the sudo command is basically run as administrator command within Linux. So I will need to specify my admin password, press enter, and now you can see that it successfully unpacked my Zabbix release. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that my packages are up to date. So you can check this by using the command apt-get update, and it will check the repository and see if any of the packages, I think during the installation everything updated successfully, but just in case we'll check that. Now that we confirm that all the packages are up to date and our list is successfully populated, we are going to proceed with installing our Zabbix server MySQL database and the front-end PHP. You can achieve this by using the command sudo apt get install Zabbix Server MySQL and Zabbix front-end PHP. When I press enter, it will find the packages that I'm looking for within my repository, and it will ask me if I want to continue, and it will tell me that it will take around 54 megabytes of when the package is installed. So I'm going to press yes, Y, and enter. So it's going to download the packages and it's going to install them. And you will see another window for the package configuration, and that is the MySQL. So it will ask you to configure the database for the MySQL server, and you will need to press enter to configure the database. And here it's going to ask you for the administrative password for the user of your current database installation. So I'm going to specify the password that we specified earlier. I'm going to press OK, and next is going to again ask you for the password for the MySQL application password for Zabbix server. I'm going to press OK to that. I'm going to confirm the password. Mismatch. Let me try again. Okay. And when I successfully wrote down the password, it's going to continue with installing the other needed applications and packages for my Zabbix server to be up and running. The next step of my installation would be to configure the PHP configuration for the Zabbix frontend, and you can achieve this by using the sudo command once again, and V is a text editor within Linux. You can use the nano one, which is for Ubuntu as well, but V, I think it's better for me. So the exact location of the configuration file, you'll be able to find it in etc Zabbix and then Apache conf. If I press enter, it will open that page in the text editor. You can see that I can scroll down with all the information and different colors. With the nano text editor, I don't see any colors, so I don't like it. And here you have the option to configure the settings for your Apache server, and the last option is the PHP value date time zone. This is really important because on front of it you can see that we have a sign that if we don't remove, this is considered as a comment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to change my time zone to the current time zone. And of course you can change the time zone to the time zone that you're currently located in. You can find the information on the internet if you don't know your time zone. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to press escape, and then I'm going to press colon and then W and Q. That is write, so it's going to save the information, and Q to quit. So the information is written now, and I can proceed with the final step, and that would be to configure a static IP address for my server, because I don't want my Zabbix server to have a DHCP address that it's currently having. So I can check what is the current IP address of my server by using the command ipconfig. I'm sorry, ipconfig was for the Windows. ifconfig is the one that I'm looking for here. It's there is a small difference from the one from the Windows, but yeah, and here I can see what are the network cards that are currently assigned and what is the information that is assigned by my DHCP. Ethernet 0 is the top one, you can see it. I have the iNet address of 192.168.18.140, but this is a DHCP assigned address, and the next time that I restart my server, when the lease is over, it will assign another IP address, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the settings. Sudo v etc network interfaces. Here, when I open that, I can see that I have the auto interface 01, and on interface 01 I have a DHCP address currently assigned. So what I want to do is I want to remove this DHCP address and add a static IP address. You can achieve this by deleting DHCP, writing static, and then on the next row adding the address, which is going to be the same one, 192.168.18.140. On the next row we have to specify the net mask, and that net mask is going to be 255.255.255.0. The next row will specify the network, and the network is 192.168.18.0, a class C network. The broadcast address is going to be 192.168.18.255. The gateway is going to be 192.168.18.2 in my case, and the DNS name servers is the DNS server 192.168.1.2. So now that I've configured the static IP address settings, I'm going to press escape once again, colon, write, quit, and the next thing that I need to do is I need to edit another config file that is for my name resolution, which is located in etc resolve conf. And now I can see that when I've edited the other file, it automatically set the name server to 192.168.18.2. It's possible that this was assigned by my DHCP server as well, because it's giving the same address. So I'm going to leave that for now, leave it like it is, and I'm going to press escape, colon, quit, and with exclamation mark. That is the way to quit without saving any changes. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove the DHCP client. You can do this by sudo apt-get remove DHCP client. Press enter. Okay, done. And the final thing that I need to do is write sudo tc and networking restart. I want to restart my network card to see if it picked the changes. So let's try to ping google.com, and I can see that Google is currently responding to my ping. So I'm going to cancel that, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my web browser, from where I can finish with the configuration of my Zabbix server. Now that I've opened my Internet Explorer, I'm going to open the Zabbix server, which is 18.140, and you can see from the web page, on this IP on port 80, it's currently the Apache server that is responding, and it's saying to me that it works with red letters like it's saying stop, don't do it, but not sure why they decided to go ahead with the red bar right here. But the thing that you need to do in order for you to finish the installation of your Zabbix server is you need to open the Zabbix virtual directory, and you can achieve this by using the IP address with a / and then Zabbix. So now I've managed to open my Zabbix. I can see that it's fully working and the setup is working, and from here I can proceed and finish my installation. So let's click next, and straight away the point that I've mentioned before, the PHP time zone. So I showed you from where you need to remove the symbol to make that a non-comment. But what I forgot to do is, after I did this, I forgot to restart my PHP so it can take the changes. So now I'm going to switch back to my Linux server, and from here I'm going to restart the Apache service. That we can achieve this by using the command sudo and then service and then Apache restart. Let's press enter. Let me see, service Apache 2. It's Apache 2, I'm sorry. So we did restart my Apache 2 service, which now if I go ahead and open my web browser once again and refresh the Zabbix login, now yeah, I can see that the PHP time zone changed to Europe, which is the one that I want to see. And from here I will see again the options for the PHP, and they are all green. All the prerequisites are green, which is really nice. You must have all the prerequisites here green, so your server can run properly. So I'm going to click next, and the next window, it will ask me what is the database type, the where is the database currently hosted, on which port it can connect, and the name of the database and the user. So when we installed the Zabbix MySQL, if you remember, we specified the password for it. So we'll need that password to be entered right here. We can test the connection, and from here you can see that I have a small green OK message, which I'm happy to see. I'm going to click next. The next one is you can specify on which port the Zabbix server is going to listen. So this is important. This is the default one, and I'm going to specify a name for my Zabbix server so it can be visible with my naming convention. I'm going to click next, and now it's going to provide me with a pre-installation summary of everything that I've specified before. And if I click next, and it's going to configure the zabbixconf PHP file, and if I press the finish button, I'll be able to log in to my Zabbix server. So the default credentials for my Zabbix server are admin and then Zabbix without any capital letters. You can choose to remember for 30 days, press enter. And now you can see that I'm already in my Zabbix console. So from here on there are a lot of options. This is maybe a subject of another video of how you can configure everything, how you can add the hosts and add them into host groups. Now your Zabbix server is currently disabled, so you can enable the host and that can be monitored. So if there are any issues with your Zabbix server, they can be shown below. Most probably the first issue that it will appear to me is that I don't have an agent currently installed into my Zabbix, but as I said, this is a subject of another video. I'll show you how you can install Zabbix agents on Windows servers and monitor the Windows servers. You can monitor different services and processes on them, and it's really handy to make a monitoring system for your company and your environment. So this is the video of how you can install Zabbix Server on Linux Ubuntu server, and how you can configure everything so that your Zabbix server will be up and running by the end of this video. So thank you very much for viewing, and see you soon.